Hello everybody and welcome back to the second week of PAC. I am Cram, of course, coach of the St. Louis Battlehawluchas, and this week we are playing Quin, who is the coach of the Shining Iron Dancers. You'll see our matchup with his team on the right and mine on the left. Approaching this matchup, I see a lot of potential fast and good, potent offensive threats, as well as very good defensive mons to stonewall my entire offense. Going into this matchup, my goal here is to make sure I contain the Sneasler, who has a potential to be faster than my entire team naturally and with Unburden. So I have Annihilate dedicated to check that, as well as some other techs to help manage his defensive core. So I do have a dedicated lead for this matchup in the Monkey Dory. As far as Terras, my opponent decided to go with Terra Fairy Avalugg and Terra Fairy Manaphy as well, which does pose some problems for my prep around Manaphy, but we'll manage. So here he does decide to lead the Avalugg. Now I could have Focus Blast for this thing, unless he decides Terra. I do reveal that he has heavy duty boots, so what I'm going to do here is go for the trick and give it my Flame Orb, because if he goes Gliscor to scout for the Focus Blast as opposed to tearing, I can catch that and get rid of its item. But instead he makes the great play of going Espeon, which accomplishes the same goal, but without being as taxing on his strategy. So we do get his Covert Cloak, so we do reveal in just one turn 2 of his items. So we could even say we know half of his items because Gliscor almost always holds the Toxic Orb. Here I do have a dedicated switch to this in my Persian, so I'm going to go directly into it, and I catch no damage as he goes for the Psychic Noise. Now I don't need to get that Flame Orb back, so I'm just going to knock it off. And he actually does survive the hit, and then he goes for a Draining Kiss, and he's able to get some decent recovery off, but he doesn't 2-hit KO me. So it's unlikely that he has Dazzling Gleam to do more damage. And with that Flame Orb chip, he's about half, like just barely above half. I'm going to go for another knockoff because I do expect him to switch at some point, but he actually does survive, so without any investment, he does manage to survive my knockoff, and he has Morning Sun, so he actually gets a little bit of a net positive on this interaction, but he doesn't want to waste his Morning Sun, so he does decide to switch, so I get to knock off another item here. He does decide to go into the Manaphy, which is very nice, because it tells me a lot about what type of set he's running, and he reveals that he has Leftovers, so he's potentially like a Mamoswine switch in, but he could also have that setup opportunity, so I'm going to go for a Taunt to see what he goes for here. Persian's pretty much contained the thing it's here to check, so I do actually end up surviving the Surf. Now that he's taunted, I am going to go for the U-turn and get a little bit more chip. And then I'm going to go into my Manaphy check. I'm going to go into the Goodra. And he does go for Ice Beam as I cross my fingers, hoping for no freezes, of course. He is Terra Fairy, but I am going to decide to go for a Dragon move anyways, because if he goes for the Terra Fairy, then I baited out his Terra, and I can follow up with a Flash Cannon. So he does go into Lomomola, and he takes it pretty well. So that tells me that he's most likely Assault Vest. So here I'm going to go into Annihilate, because I expect a flip turn here, and if I can get Rage Fist boosts stacked up very early, this could be very beneficial for me. And I also Covert Cloak, so he can never Scald Burn me. But he does decide to flip turn out, and in response he goes into his Gliscor, and now he gets a free Toxic Orb activation. Here I don't think he's gonna go into Espeon to block Hazard setup, or he even expects me to have Stealth Rocks, so I'm just gonna click Stealth Rocks here and get chip on all these switches. He does go for Toxic, and he reveals that he's faster than my Annihilate, which is unfortunate. I do have Healing Wish in the back though, so as long as I'm utilizing my switch-ins to get Rage Fist boosts, I can still make use of the Annihilate. So here I am going to go into my Enamorus. He didn't bring the Hydreigon, and he doesn't have Rotom Heat, so he doesn't really have great switch-ins to this thing. And its role is pretty much freed up in this matchup. He does decide to set up a layer of Spikes, which is very unfortunate. Here he's going to go for another Toxic, so I am on a timer without any reliable recovery outside of Draining Kiss, but here I decided to go for the Alluring Voice. It actually does a pretty good chunk of damage, so he is a bit more physically built. But now that I'm poisoned, he can just go for the free Protect, and there's really nothing I can do about it. But because I'm very healthy and he doesn't actually have an attack to hit me, or at least he hasn't revealed one, I can just click Alluring Voice and get this thing weakened as much as possible because my team does not deal with it. I do not have a single waterized move on this build to deal with Gliscor, unfortunately. But here he decides to switch, recognizing that Gliscor is very useful here defensively and he shouldn't let it get weakened. So he is going to go into this. But I actually, instead of attacking, I pull a double, expecting him to switch. And I actually go into Monkey Dory. So here we do get to reveal another item. After we take Spikes damage, of course, and we do reveal that he is actually Assault Vest. Now, I want to trick this thing, get rid of Assault Vest. It would be very good for my Glimmora in the back, who I want to use to break. But I do expect him to scout for the trick at least. So he does go Gliscor, and I actually go for Psychic Noise. And it does a considerable chunk of damage, and because he's prevented from healing, Toxic Orb will not work here. So he's going to go for Protect here to scout out the last turn of Psychic Noise, because it only lasts 2 turns. But the issue with that is that his healing is blocked before the effects wear off. So now he's actually in range of another one. So he's actually going to switch. So now I'm realizing that Monkey Dory is probably my best means of dealing with Gliscor, because he now can't use that to scout. So here he's going to go into Espeon, which is good for me because we already revealed that he has Morning Sun. So here I can just freely attack into him. I do take 1 hit, and I would like to get rid of this thing because it's faster than most of my team and threatens my Glimmora. So he is going to go for the Psychic Noise. It does do a chunk, but I do take this hit. And then I can retaliate with Sludge Wave. So now Espeon's gone. And I don't have to worry about that anymore. Which completely frees up Persian to be used as a sack, basically. He is going to go into this thing, so since he went hard into this thing, I don't expect him to actually switch, so I am going to go for the trick and give him the Clover Cloak that I took from the Espeon. And I'm going to take his Assault Vest, which means I cannot use any of my trick shenanigans anymore, but I'm completely content with that. And he actually goes for the Mirror Coat, expecting me to block his recovery. So I get the trick off scot-free. So now I'm going to switch because I do want to keep this Monkey Dory around. And I'm going to go into Persian now to sack it so I can get a free switch in. And he does go for the flip turn and takes out the Persian. And then in response, he's going to go into Gliscor to get free recovery. I go into Glimmora here thinking that I will be faster and get off a good hit. But he actually just doesn't even scout for me with... Protect. He just goes straight for the Earthquake and knocks me out, which is very unfortunate because I needed Glimmora to really break this team up. But the silver lining is I do get up Toxic Spikes, and because Gliscor is so good, it's completely content with me. So he'll stay in and probably forget that I even have Toxic Spikes up. So I'm gonna go Annihilate here, and he's just gonna go for the Protect to scout. As I'm going to go for the Rage Fist and just try to get damage on him. I am slowly taking damage, but it's alright as long as I'm not in range of his attack. Which at this point I expect to be Earthquake. And then here, because he already committed the Protect, I'm going to go for the Terra. I'm only at 100 power, so I do need to make up the difference with my Terrestrialization here. And I'm going to go Ghost, so I can get as much damage on Rage Fist as possible. If I can keep this thing as low as possible, that was great for the rest of my team. Here he does go for the Toxic because he doesn't want to give me any free boost. And I'm going to go for the Rage Fist. I'm hoping that even with only 100 power and Terrestrialization is going to be enough, but it is not. It's not even close. So here he is going to get another round of Toxic Heal, and then he's going to Protect it again. So here I do expect the Protect, so I'm going to switch out because I don't want to rack up too much poison damage from sitting in and playing around Protect. So here I'm going to go into Enamorous as he goes for the Protect. And then he's going to get one more round of Poison Heal for free, and I'm going to take poison damage myself. Here you can go for another Protect. But I'm just going to click a random move because I know that he's just going to spam Protect again as I take poison damage. He's going to get one more round, a Poison Heal, and we're just going to do this song and dance all over again. Very fun gameplay. But I'm going to go for, I believe, the Draining Kiss because I do want to get a little bit of health out of this exchange to help keep things going. If I remember right, he does forget about the Toxic Spike, so I do get something out of this turn where I get to poison the Loma one. And I actually don't end up getting... I just go for Alluring Voice for damage. So without that Assault Vest, I am starting to weaken the Alomomola quite considerably. I think realizing that he now needs to get rid of the Toxic Spikes, now he switches into Sneasler, actually. He's going to go Sneasler to absorb the Toxic Spikes because they could never be put up again. Here I do decide to go for the Draining Kiss because the Alomomola has a lot of health, and I can really benefit from the healing. And it does actually a pretty considerable amount of damage to Sneasler. And now, unfortunately, I do not know what this is, and I don't want to sack this yet because I need it for Healing Wish for the Annihilate. So I'm forced to pick a sack here, basically, because I still need my Goodra in order to deal with Manaphy. So I do, unfortunately, have to sack the Monkey Dory, which is right now my best Gliscor answer. And first does reveal Choice Band, so now I've got not only one, not Annihilate, Monkey Dory not only got one KO, but it managed to reveal like most of the team's items, so that's very good for me. He does go for the U-turn because he is locked into Choice Band, and he's gonna go, no surprise to anybody, he's gonna go Gliscor. It doesn't matter that I am chipping away his health with rocks because Poison Heal is just going to give it all back to him. Here I am gonna go to the Enamorous, and now here I do expect him to protect, so I'm gonna go right now for the Healing Wish. And my thought is that I can't delay this any longer. He's just going to Toxic Excel me. And because Protect succeeded, he can't use it the next turn. So my hope here is that he clicks Toxic, misses on the Annihilate, and I get a free Rage Fist boost. Because now he's conflicted on whether or not he needs to stay healthy or if he wants to poison me. So here I am going to go for the Rage Fist. After, of course, I heal, I get the Poison Cure, and I take Spikes damage. Unfortunately, he does hit the Toxic, so I do have to deal with this again, but I am going to get a free Rage Fist on this Gliscor. Pop off, 100 power still, boosted by Terrestrialization, and it hits pretty pathetically. It is a little under half, so it is like a net positive for me, but now that I'm poisoned, it is very hard to justify spamming it all the time. At this point, I can't really beat the Gliscor. I am going to go for a Drain Punch. I do expect to protect. I don't expect to switch or anything, but just in case, you never know. Here he's going to get another round of Poison Heal. He's not quite in range. He can survive this for sure. But he doesn't even have to risk it. He just goes for the Protect. And now I'm just sitting here wondering how I let myself get Toxic stalled by the most obvious Gliscor set in the world. The only problem though is that my water and ice covers that I have cannot be justified in this matchup. Just because he's got all of the best Mammoth tracks in the world, so I will never make any progress with Mammoth. And then Milotic just didn't feel as good here. But it's not the worst. I am going to go for Rage Fist. I'm going to continue to try to weaken him. All hope is pretty much lost as I just slowly get worn down by poison. And he's just going to set up more and more spikes because he doesn't want to damage me ever until I'm completely in range of Earthquake. Go for Rage Fist. I do nothing. I am probably in range of Earthquake now, even before poison damage, but he doesn't want to take any chances. Poison here brings me all the way down to 2 HP, and 100% he can KO me now with Earthquake, so he is going to go for that and knock me out. If I had Bulk Up, this also would have been a much better outcome for me, because I could at least do more damage with Rage Fist, but I didn't have it. So unfortunately here I am going to go into my last Pokemon, which is the Goodra. And I don't have Ice Beam or anything. He is just going to protect because he might as well just preserve Differential in case I do have a random Ice Beam or anything. But I don't. I just go for the Dragon Pulse for damage. He's going to get another round of Poison Heal. So now he's just in range of no neutral hits. He is going to go for the Earthquake. And I do actually live it after all the hazard damage. But it's not going to matter because I'm going to go for Dragon Pulse here. And it's not quite in range. Even another round of Stealth Rock wouldn't have done it. So he is just going to go Earthquake, and he's going to take a 5-0 win over me. So we have yet to get a win this season, but I'm sure we'll get one eventually. It's still very early, so there's always opportunity for improvement. But for now, I will be sitting at the bottom of the pack of the league for the time being. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.